it was a bit of a grind on Saturday with facing that defense. Where do you guys think you are offensively? How much confidence do you have you can be ready for the opener? And how important will that run game be early in the season?
The run game is extremely important. I'll start with that. As an offensive line, that's where we need to make our money. That's what we should love as an offensive line, opportunity to run block guys, drive them downfield. And the more you run the ball, the more opportunity you have to pass the ball. And I've been saying that we have the weapons this year to make it happen. We got work to do as an offensive line. I got work to do myself in a lot of areas. We wish we had more time, but, we keep grinding every single day. I know that we're going to be ready come Monday against the Titans 2 weeks from today. But in that 2 weeks, we got a lot of work to do still. So we're still growing as an offensive line. We're growing as an offense. I know Saturday was a little bit shaky for us, but there's a lot of days that people don't see that we do pretty damn good here at practice. So as an offense, we just got to become more consistent.
Next up, Nick Kosmider.
Yeah, Dalton. Obviously, Lloyd Cushenberry has had more reps with the first team over the last week or so. Curious as to what you think of his progression at the center spot.
Yeah, Lloyd is extremely intelligent. He does a great job. He wants to be great. Lloyd has a passion for the game. He has leadership capabilities he's probably not even aware of. I'm really impressed with Lloyd. I was telling the coaches today, I want to keep getting more and more reps with him. As many reps as we can, even if we got to get reps after practice, because that's what we need. We need to make sure we're understanding of how each other makes certain blocks, what we mean by certain calls. That's so big for an offensive line. It's about meshing together, coming together as a unit. So I think Lloyd's done an extremely good job. The offensive line is continuing to gel more and more. He's got a lot of work to do just like I do, but I'm really happy with where we're at right now, man.
Next up, Andrew Mason, go ahead.
With Cushenberry, but just kind of the offensive line in general, how do you think the shortened camp and everything has affected you guys being ready? And do you feel like you guys, when you get to week one, are going to have enough reps, enough situational work, et cetera, to be ready to roll?
Yeah, good question, Andrew. The good news is that every team had to do the same thing, right? So we're not sitting here saying, oh, well, we didn't get as many reps together. So do we wish we had more reps? Yes. Do we wish we would have had OTAs to work into this, to ease into having a new offensive coordinator, getting two brand new offensive linemen on the team, on the starting five, really? Of course we do. Of course we wish we had more time to do this and to ease into it. We got thrown into the fire. We threw pads on. We're rocking and rolling. We did install and we're going. We had a lot of time to meet over the phone and Zoom and do all that during OTAs, but that's not football. That's a mind deal. That's just not the game of football. Things speed up a little bit more than a Zoom call when you put the pads on, fellas. I think that every team has had the same situation, so we got to make the most of it. And I do think that we're going to be ready. And maybe it's not about being 100% ready, Andrew, like you would be if you had OTAs in a full camp and full preseason games, but maybe it's about who's going to be the most ready out of the situation and circumstances that we had.
Next up, Brandon Christall, go ahead.
Dalton, with the up and down practice that y'all had on Saturday and Drew was a little down on himself afterwards, do you find it, especially in year two now, will you go talk to the offense or guys on the offense and talk to Drew about practice just to try to get him picked back up for the next day? Yeah, 100%. You know what I think is awesome, Brandon, is that, Drew gets down on himself because he's competitive. There's a lot of guys that just say, oh, it's just practice. I've been ticked multiple days, man, where I was like, I need to be better. I have higher expectations than this. I can't be getting beat on this rep. They're counting on me. So I'm hard on myself too, man. There's some days that I'm extremely upset. But what we do as an offense is we get together. You got guys like Cortland Sutton, Phillip Lindsay, myself, Graham Glasgow, Drew Locke. That all of us are going to bring different things to the table. I might be one of the more vocal guys that isn't scared to, voice my opinion or whatever it is. So, yeah, of course, I pick guys up. And to Drew, man, I let him know, I'm like, dude, no one's worried about you, man. We know you're working your tail off. We know you're our guy. You had a bad day. Let's improve from it. Let's move on. But what I love about this offense is there's guys that get upset about that, even if it's just practice. So I can only imagine when we don't perform the way we want to in games what it's going to be like. I think that's just because we're competitors. For some of those days, was it when you were matched up with Jarrell and he may have gotten the best of you a little bit that we saw here in camp, days like that?
Yeah, Jarrell's a great player. There's been multiple times where he's got me here in camp. We take switches. Some days I'll get him, some days he'll get me. Draymond Jones has done an amazing job. He's an extremely good pass rusher, so trying to figure him out. There's multiple guys on this, defensive line and defense that give me trouble. So, man, there's days where it's me, there's days where it's them. And you just got to go back to the drawing board and realize, hey, man, we're teammates. We got to continue to work through this, and then hopefully by the season, we're kicking everyone's tail, man. But yeah, Darrell's definitely got me a few times.
Next up, Zach Stevens.
Hey, Dalton, thanks for talking with us. What improvements have you seen from Garrett Bowles his first few weeks in camp?
Yeah, Garrett, I've always believed in Garrett ever since I got here. He's been a great role model for me off the field for sure. Then whenever we get on the field, Garrett, he studies this game a lot. He takes a lot of notes. He cares a lot about this team. He cares a lot about what he can bring to this team. And this year, I think Garrett just kind of went back to the drawing board and realizing, like, hey, I'm a really athletic player, because Garrett's extremely athletic. Garrett is one of the most athletic offensive linemen on our team. And I think that what Garrett's done is he's really honed in on what Mike Munchak is saying. Garrett might have had a way of doing things his first few years, but I think Garrett grew a lot last year, whether some people saw it or not. And I think that Mike Munchak continues to help him grow this year. And it's the NFL. Everyone has a fair shake. That's the thing that I want everyone to know, is that everyone has a fair shake, and we're all going to duke this thing out to have the best 5 offensive linemen. Garrett continues to prove himself in practice, and that's coming from me. That man is athletic, and he does a great job. He has things to work on, just like I do, just like all of us offensive linemen do. But what he's done a great job of is competing every single day, listening to a Hall of Fame coach in Mike Munchak, and really doing what he wants in terms of technique. And I think that's going a long way for Garrett.
Last two, Arnie and then Troy. Go ahead, Arnie.
Hey, Dalton. I know that you're working with a bunch of different centers, but I'm wondering specifically what you think of Cushenberry, and if he can be a rookie that steps right into the fire like you were a year ago.
Most definitely. I think that he definitely could be a guy that can help our team this year. He's been taking 1 reps for us. Austin Schlottman has done an outstanding job as well. Pat has done an awesome job as well. We've had a lot of guys that have done a really good job for us at center of this camp. But when you ask the question of, do I think Lloyd can do what I did last year and step into the fire? Most definitely. I think he's mature enough. I think he's, responsible enough to take control of the offensive line. He knows his stuff. It's not a mental thing for Lloyd. It's just getting used to the speed of the NFL and making calls and being able to be aware of what goes on in the game. And he continues to grow with that. And me and him continue to grow every single day as we take more reps with each other. And that gives me a lot of confidence heading into, playing the Titans here in 2 weeks.
Final one, Troy Rank. Go ahead, Troy.
We know you grew up a Broncos fan, Dalton. What was it like being in there with no fans, and now they're going to have cutouts? Can that help this environment in this weird normal that we're living in, to have crowd noise pumped in and have some cutouts?
Of course, man. It was sad. I love Denver. I love the fans. I love being able to mingle with you guys. And I was fake pointing up in the stands the whole day, man, acting like I saw a few 66 jerseys. And I was actually talking to my media guys here, and I was like, hey, little Dalton Risner was sitting up there in, 572 with 2 chicken strip baskets and a large Coke, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So it was definitely weird, man. I love Broncos country. I wish they could be there. It's going to be a different experience for sure. But we got to make the most of it, man. And, one thing with that is, we have such a special team this year. I want Broncos country to be able to see that. I could name guys on guys, but Jake Butt, man, look at what that guy's done. Going through 2 surgeries, and look at where he's at right now. Like, I'm so excited about this football team, the type of character that we have on this team, because we got guys, the list just goes on and on. Melvin Gordon, with everything going on back in his hometown, how he continues to grind. Phillip Lindsay, the guy that went undrafted and now a starting running back, defied all the odds. You got guys from all sorts and different walks and shapes of life, man. And we're something special this year. It gets me fired up. I want you guys to know that we got a great group of guys here on the Denver Broncos, man. I'm excited to be a part of them.